If any of you have had the pleasure of driving on I-81 in Virginia, then you know that it is a beautiful, scenic stretch of highway. One thing you also know is that it seemingly has more truck traffic than just about any other highway. While America's great trucking industry is responsible for delivering tons of goods that consumers need, there is no doubt that when this many trucks are mingling with passenger vehicles on a 4-lane highway, there is bound to be a lot of slowdown, accidents, and backups. This presents quite the problem for I-81. So what is Virginia planning on doing about it? Let's find out. But first, I want to welcome you guys back to the channel. I'm Mileage Mike, frequent traveler, geography, and roadway enthusiast. Once an engineer designing the world for a living, now I travel it, bringing you videos and commentary on all types of American infrastructure and its great cities. Go ahead and hit that like button since I got you to click, and subscribe if you really enjoy the content, because there is a lot more coming. Now let's get back to Interstate 81. First, the question must be answered. Why are there so many trucks on Interstate 81? The simple answer is supply chain and logistics. On the Virginia coastline, Norfolk is a major port for goods. To further strengthen its port city, Virginia built one of the nation's few successful inland ports in Front Royal, Virginia, right off the I-81 corridor. This extended the Port of Virginia's powers over 220 miles inland. It provided access to markets across several states, including West Virginia, Ohio, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New York, also making Norfolk much more competitive against the Port of Baltimore. Norfolk Southern Railway's main line also passes through this inland port. It is truly a logistical marvel to behold. To see where the trucks come in, we have a handy map for that. Here you can see how freight moves around the U.S. in millions of tons per year. The burgundy-ish color is roadway freight. Much of America's raw materials come from inland states. All top oil-producing states are in the West. The top American trade partners are Canada and Mexico. Most raw materials also come from inland states like Kansas, Nebraska, etc., and move east to be manufactured into their final products before hitting the coastal ports. Looking at our map, you can see the pathway of freight moving from places like Texas to the northeast, and I-81 being the ideal route. Even the famous I-95 pales in comparison when it comes to freight traffic, partially due to its heavy use by other traffic and heavy tolling north of Washington, D.C. Many truckers will often use I-81 to avoid I-95 for that very reason. You may also notice that east of Chicago, rail freight is completely dwarfed by truck freight. Many people don't realize just how massive and important to the economy the truck industry has grown to become. So here are some astonishing numbers according to an article by Business Insider. In 2017, the American trucking industry generated over $700 billion in revenue, which was higher than the GDP of 150 countries. If it were its own country, it would have ranked 33rd in the entire world. Around 5.8% of all jobs in the U.S. are related to trucking. Walmart alone employs over 8,600 truckers. In 2017, the trucking industry moved 10.8 billion tons of freight. That's the equivalent of 30 pounds of goods for every person in America. Most grocery stores would run out of food within 3 days if the trucks suddenly stopped hauling goods. And now here's a big one. A whopping 70% of all goods transported around the United States are transported by truckers. And though I drive quite a bit, it's nothing compared to the average long-haul trucker who drives in excess of 100,000 miles per year. So when you understand just how massive and important the trucking industry is, in addition to the location of the inland port, I-81 just makes perfect sense to be the ideal trucker's highway. I recently filmed and released a couple videos of my drive up I-81, and I definitely say there were more trucks than other vehicles on the highway. Now surely Virginia is aware of the problems with I-81 and have been for quite some time. Several ideas have been proposed over the years. Let's explore. Upon first glance, from looking at a congested 4-lane, mostly rural highway, the initial thought would be just add a 3rd lane on each side and be done with it. After all, 6 lanes typically is the sweet spot for smooth traffic flow on semi-rural interstates. That additional lane allows for faster moving vehicles to avoid the micro-passing phenomenon that often occurs when one truck is trying to overtake another. Works well for I-75 in Georgia, I-75 in Kentucky. It even worked well for I-75 in Florida until everybody and their mama decided to move to Florida all of a sudden. But the I-81 corridor is a little more complicated than I-75. Also, the main cause of backups and congestion isn't necessarily due to capacity. The main cause is due to traffic accidents involving tractor trailers that can take hours to clean up and cause severe backups on the highway. There are 3 main complications with I-81 that make it difficult to fix. Number one is the terrain. Interstate 81 is a completely mountainous highway. Moving up and down such difficult terrain and any solution requiring new bridges over the James, Shenandoah, and New Rivers will only further inflate the cost of expanding the roadway. Any major solution for I-81 is going to be a multi-billion-dollar one, and that cost only continues to rise as time goes by without action. Number two is the trucking industry. I already explained earlier just how massive the trucking industry is. Any solution proposed by the Virginia DOT is unlikely to clear political hurdles without the approval of the American Trucking Associations. Number three is the residents of the region. No one likes paying tolls, and the Southwest Virginia residents will have something to say about any toll proposals on the roadway, or else someone might be out of office. Over the years, several ideas have been floated. Most include tolls in some form, everything from tolling trucks only to HOV lanes, truck-only lanes, tolling the entire roadway, and even a proposal for drones to assist in helping clear wrecks more quickly. I should also throw in the fact that Virginia already missed the boat when I-81 could have been fixed over a decade ago. A company named Fluor Virginia told the Road Note Times way back in 2003 that it could add a car-only lane on each side of the entire highway by 2011 for the cost of $1.8 billion, financed only with tolls from both cars and trucks. While another company, Star Solutions, claimed that it could widen the roadway to 4 lanes on each side, with concrete barriers like those I raved about on the I-4 video to separate cars and trucks. This proposal would have included a plan to divert some freight traffic away from the road to rail instead, at a total cost of anywhere from $7.5 to $13 billion by some estimates. This was to have been completed by 2018 if adopted. For whatever reason, neither of these proposals were adopted, and here in 2022, the cost is much higher than either of those 2003 proposals. The engineered solution isn't much concerned here. We all know that the road needs to be widened in some form along the entire stretch, so the issue with I-81 comes down to cost. A few ways to finance the project have included tolling the entirety of Interstate 81. Virginia actually received an exception a few years back to toll a couple of its interstate highways. Highways built with federal funding are typically prohibited from tolling, but in this case, a rare one-time exception was granted. In this article from 2019, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam and GOP lawmakers actually came to an agreement to toll the entire highway. Governor Ralph Northam and Republican lawmakers representing the I-81 corridor announced their support Tuesday for tolling rather than a regional gas tax that was also considered. The legislative proposal that's expected to be approved in the short session beginning Wednesday will set limits on toll prices and provide for discounted annual pass for cars that would allow unlimited use of the highway. The unlimited pass is expected to cost somewhere around $30 depending on final negotiations and other considerations. Electronic toll gantries are expected to be set every 40 to 60 miles or so along I-81, with regular rates set up to 11 cents a mile for cars and 17 cents a mile for trucks. That would equate to about $55 for trucks to travel the length of I-81 during daylight hours. Tolls will be discounted overnight to encourage truck drivers and others to travel at less busy times. But the tolls will be a fixed price, unlike variable cost lanes on I-66, 95, and 495. The I-81 tolls are expected to bring in about $150 million per year. That will pay for an estimated $2.2 billion in projects along I-81 and parallel routes regularly used as detours. However, Virginia DOT backed down out of fear of backlash from area residents and truckers. The exception was then transferred to I-95 for tolling, which Virginia DOT also ended up backing down from. So tolling the entire roadway is no longer in play as an option. Another possibility was raising fuel taxes across the entire state or just the county served by I-81. This proves difficult due to other parts of the state taking issue with paying increased taxes to pay for a project that does not directly benefit them. Then, of course, even if the tax increase were targeted only at the counties around I-81, residents in those areas will have a problem with having to pay higher taxes to upgrade their highway, while other parts of the state do not. And finally, another option was some form of targeted tolling. This could have meant building an additional lane or lanes where only cars can use, only trucks can use, or some form of variable pricing for the time of day. Overall, this seems to have been the most politically feasible idea, but it has also been backed down from by the Virginia DOT. Now, with all that said, what has Virginia actually decided to do? Let's take a look directly from the source. So Virginia DOT has a very well organized website here specifically dedicated to all things Interstate 81. It's broken down in terms of studies, projects in design, proposed projects, and recently completed projects. I won't bore you by going through every little project, but let's take a look at some of the ones that involve widening. Here in the Roanoke area, widening a couple miles around the interchange with I-581 is coming in at a total cost of $38 million. And a little further down is the widening of 4 more miles from exit 137 to 144 in the same region. Wow, at a cost of just under $300 million just for 4 miles. Looks like things have gotten significantly more expensive since 2003. Said starting in February 2022 and continuing into early summer, work on this project, the first widening project of the Interstate 81 Corridor Improvement Program, will begin. Work will start on the inside and outside shoulders along a 5-mile section of both north and southbound I-81 in Roanoke County and the city of Salem. The shoulder strengthening is part of a $179 million design and build project to widen both directions of I-81 between mile markers 136.6 and 141.8 from 2 to 3 lanes. All right. Also, there is a I-81 corridor improvement page. This gives an overall overview of the entire corridor where we can see what's going on and just how much it will cost. These cost figures certainly have ballooned since 2003. Overall, it looks like Virginia has decided that the tolls or tax increases in any form were just too politically risky and has instead opted for incremental spot improvements over time in the worst areas. Seeing as how this website extends out to 2032 and still doesn't cover the entire roadway, it's going to be a long time before I-81 is significantly improved. I'll link both the Virginia DOT page and the improved I-181 site in the description if you guys want to explore more. Now, my personal thoughts. From an engineering perspective, the solution was clear from the beginning. The roadway needs widening in some form. I like the Star Solutions 2003 proposal for 8 lanes, with the car and truck lanes separated, and the diversion of some truck freight to rail freight, primarily financed by tolling. And I know most people hate tolls, but with the U.S. no longer investing in infrastructure and Congress being terrified of raising the gas tax, we better get used to it if we want anything built. That said, the tolls have to be done right, not like the fiasco we had in Charlotte on I-77, if you're familiar with that area. Of course, I'm not a politician, so my job doesn't depend on making everyone happy to stay in office, so I understand the reluctance to get it done. Ultimately, all roadway and transit projects are political decisions, not engineering or planning decisions, despite what you may have heard. There will be some slight improvements, but overall it's going to be quite a while before I-81 is a smooth, safe road to travel. What say you guys? Do you think Virginia missed the boat by not tolling 81 when they had the chance? Or do you prefer the current approach of slowly upgrading with traditional funding? Or should they just leave the highway at 2 lanes on each side and just build a train, bro? Let me know in the comments, especially if you live in the area or travel I-81 often. Thanks for watching. See you on the next trip, coming soon to a town near you.